granted 5 million cedi bail as she pleads not guilty to all 80 counts of stealing, causing financial loss to the state and money laundering, among others. We'll bring you details live as she's put before an Accra High Court. We have also in sports coming up,
where the Normalization Committee Vice Chairman has been speaking, but a bit of confusion surrounding what she said this morning on the Super Morning Show, dismissing reports that the contract between Zylophone and the Ghana Football Association is missing. But Lucy Quest, in another swift post on her Facebook page, says they don't have the contract at their offices. A bit of confusion.
We have all that and more coming up here on the Midday News. Remember, we're also live on Facebook. I am Emefa Apau. Details now. Member of the Council of State, Sam Okudzeto, has given the strongest hint the council will take on the national security apparatus for sanctioning the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election shooting incident. Last Thursday's by-election in the Bawaleshi area left at least 6 people injured after masked men stormed the residence of the NDC candidate Delali Kwesi Brimpong. Mr. Okudzeto, however, says the action is lawless and must be probed by appropriate authorities immediately. We'll get to hear from him shortly, but first, here's a news desk report which begs the question: have party boys infiltrated the National Security Council?
This is not a war movie. Those are gunshots and violent sounds from La Bawaleshi in the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency during the just ended by-election. Some new videos have resurfaced showing a group of marched and well-built men unleashing raw violence on some young men. In the middle of the fray is a young man wearing a black t-shirt being kicked around in his ribs and every part of his body by about 15 to 20 well-built men. Minister of State in charge of National Security, Brian Achampon, has now admitted the men are national security operatives.
It's a massive operation of movement of certain things that is undesirable to the public. It's something that the operation or the information that we have, what we are tracking, has not ended.
He says the men will not stop unless these undesirable things are diffused.
It has not ended. When it ends and we deem it fit to let apprise the public of that information, we will.
But in the middle of the chaos is the soundbite from the hooded, well-built national security operatives who assaulted Member of Parliament for Ningo Prampram, Sam George. Listen again. Translated as, the beginning of 2020, I swear to God. Could this mean that party boys have infiltrated the national security officers? Could this mean that the national security operatives have a task to execute in 2020? Until the police conclude investigations, there will be more questions begging for answers.
Have party boys infiltrated the National Security Council? A question begging for answers. Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Institute of Democratic Governance, IDEG, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, is questioning the role of national security in by-elections. He believes the decision to send extra security to safeguard the Ayawaso by-election has brought global damage to the country. He spoke on News Analysis Show, Newsfile, last Saturday.
We have specific agencies. We see different clothes, black and khaki-like and police and so on. What are all this? But what I know is that when it's elections, the security command is the police. The police task force is led by the National Security Task Force is led by the IGP. You know, when you see the chief of staff of the army on the task force, he's invited by the police. In fact, the police would also tell you that it's the Electoral Commission that has command over everything elections. They are invited, they consult, they ask them what they need, and so on and so forth. So the role of national security other than the police, or which is not under the command of the police, raises questions. Where are they from? How do we identify them? Now, this whole thing about national security, even the FBI has badges, you know. In critical circumstances, they will show you their badge. Are they badged? Can we say when push comes to shove and you say, please identify yourself? Because sometimes people would comply once you've shown your identity, that this is why you are here. But to just say I'm national security. So it's raised a lot of concerns about our security, whether we have parallel security structures, whether this came under the command of the police, or whether it's the police in different clothing and so on, or there are other forces. And that is why those who are demanding that this thing needs to be investigated speedily, thoroughly, I associate with the statement of Occupy Ghana.
Dr. Emmanuel Akwete IDEC, but the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, believes now more than ever it is imperative to take concrete steps to stamp out political vigilantism out of security issues. Chairperson of the NCCE, Josephine Nkrumah, believes no matter the intelligence received, there was no need for interference from the national security.
If at all there was actionable intelligence, I think by this point it's fair to say it was a really botched job. There's enough evidence to suggest that people who were meant to protect us became an intimidating actor. They became people who began to assault others, including an MP. And nothing at all warrants that kind of approach. It has put fear in the people of Ghana, and we are beginning to understand the essence of our consistent statement that we have to take a position to stamp out the political thugs that our democracy is being associated with now. For the UNDP to come out with a statement, it is a loaded and very significant turn of events that nobody should underestimate.
You heard the chairperson of the NCCE, Josephine Nkrumah, also speaking on Newsfile. Now, in the last few minutes, the NDC Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency executives have released a statement demanding the identities of the masked men be revealed. My colleague Fifi Kumsing has a copy of the statement and joins me in studio. So, Fifi, what more are they demanding?
So, one, they said, as already communicated, inclusive of our parliamentary candidate, Delale Kwesi Brimpong, it is our firm view that human life is priceless, so we won't do anything to endanger it. We condemn the Ghana Police Service, the National Security, the Government of Ghana, and the Electoral Commission over the poor security arrangement on the election day, and particularly the failure of the IGP to provide security for the NDC parliamentary candidate, Mr. Delale Kwesi Brimpong, and agents, as well as members of its monitoring on observer teams on the election day. We strongly disagree with the government and its spokesperson on this matter, claiming the various unidentifiable and masked gun thugs riding in police vehicles we saw on election day were from the national security outfit. In fact, they have some 3 questions they are asking. 1, how many national security operatives were commissioned on the day to supervise the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election? 2, how many of them were given weapons and live ammunition? And 3, how many M16 and AK-47 and accompanying ammunition were issued for their operations on the election day, 31st January 2019.
So that's a statement brought to you by Fifi Coombs, and that's a statement from the NDC Ayawaso West Wuogon constituency executives. Well, member of the Council of State, Sam Okudzeto, says he will be raising the issue with the Council of State. He spoke on the Super Morning Show today.
What was the basis for asking people to take guns to go and start shooting at an election? It doesn't make any sense to me. In Accra also, for that matter. It is not a rural area. This is Accra.
Well, Mr. Okudzeto, that's why we are having this conversation with you this morning, so that we give ear and we give space to these calls to be made. But you are a senior lawyer and a statesman. Does national security mean or warrant working outside what we know as the boundaries of the law?
No. My personal view, nothing to the Council of State or anything like that.
Okay.
My personal view has always been that nobody is above the law. This has been my stand throughout my life. And in my life, even as a lawyer, I've always insisted that nobody is above the law. And that the law must always take its course. That if somebody acts outside the law, then he's actually making himself lawless. And the law must be allowed to deal with such a person. or group of persons, whatever they may be. This has always been my stand. Because if everybody takes the law into his own hands, where are we going to be? So the issue is simply that I think you, the media, should insist. And now that you have said that I have also heard it, I can take this also to my own people in the Council of State to say that we should insist to an inquiry should be made into that thing to see how it came about that people have gone in masks in Accra shooting guns.
Mr. Sam Okudzeto also described comments by former President John Mahama on the matter as irresponsible.
That also is irresponsibility. You know, we respect former presidents. It's very important that we should have former office holders still in society. And they should look at themselves in that light. They are supposed to set the standard, the example for others to follow. And therefore, if something like this happens, the president, the former president, has access to the current president. He has access to him. This is a matter you should take up with them to talk about. And insist that the right thing be done. Not to make provocative statement of that nature. Because what he's saying then is an encouragement for others, maybe in the NDC, to say that they can also behave the same way. You know that two wrongs don't make a right.
You heard there Sam Okudzeto, a member of the Council of State. Now, away from that, an Accra High Court has granted a 5 million Ghana cedi bail with 2 sureties to former Chief Executive of Maslok, Sedina Tamaklo Ationu, who has been charged with 80 counts of stealing and causing financial loss to the state. The former Maslok boss and her former operations manager, Daniel Aksim, were put before an Accra High Court today. She has pleaded not guilty to all 80 counts. According to the charge sheet, the two agreed to come together and willfully cause financial loss to the state, contrary to sections 23(1) and 179A3A of the Criminal Offences Act 1960. That's Act 29. We'll go on the line shortly and get the latest from the court. But first, here's a news desk report.
In 2017, the Economic and Organised Crime Office, EOCO, conducted investigations into certain fraudulent disbursements of Maslok funds involving the first and second accused persons. Investigations revealed that in June 2014, Maslok invested a sum of 150,000 Ghana cedis in Obatampa Microfinance Company Limited, a licensed Tier 2 microfinance company located at Ijra in the Ashanti region. Thereafter, the first accused person offered Obatampa a further investment sum of 500,000 Ghana cedis. As a result, a Maslok Agricultural Development Bank ADB check dated 24th of July 2014 in the sum of 500,000 Ghana cedis was drawn in favor of Obatampa. Soon after Obatampa received the Maslok check, the first accused person informed the board chairman of Obatampa that the investment amount of 500,000 Ghana cedis would attract 24% interest. Obatampa decided to return the amount to Maslok since the interest rate being demanded by the accused person was too high and unprofitable for its business. They issued a check in a refund of the loan amount. Upon presentation of the check, the first accused person declined to accept the check and made a demand for a cash refund. A cash amount of 500,000 Ghana cedis was delivered to the first accused person by the board chairman of Obatampa on the night of 28th August 2014 at the Bachona Total filling station located on the Spintex Road in Accra. By a letter dated 28th August 2014, the first accused person acknowledged receipt of the refunded sum. In 2015, per letters, some of which were under the hand of the accused person, Maslok made demands on Obatampa for the payment of interest on the principal investment sum of 500,000 Ghana cedis. In response to the demands, Obatampa wrote a reminder to Maslok concerning the payment of the loan amount and drew the first accused person's attention to the unjustified demands, whereupon the demands stopped. In 2017, upon the assumption of office of a new chief executive of Maslok, a demand notice was again sent to Obatampa for the payment of accrued interest on the same investment sum of 500,000 Ghana cedis, whereupon Obatampa once again informed Maslok that the money had already been refunded since 2014. Investigations subsequently showed that Maslock had no record of the amount having been paid to it, and that the first accused person had appropriated the amount of 500,000 Ghana cedis.
So that case is in court today, and already the Accra High Court has granted a 5 million Ghana cedi bill with 2 sureties to the former chief executive of Maslock, Sedina Tamaklo Otiono. Let's head to court because my colleague Raymond Akwa was there. So Raymond, we know that she's pleaded not guilty to all 80 counts. That's Sedina. Bring us up to speed on what happened in court.
So that was basically going through from the very first count of plain stealing through to the last one, which deals with collusion to cause financial loss to the state. All of these counts were rejected one by one. She was steadfast in her rejection and insisting that she's not guilty of any of these counts. Now, that was not the end of the court proceedings, actually. They then moved to determine what happens to her. Then they agreed on the bail terms. And, of course, her own, and mindful of the differences in the count, was also, her own was different from that of Mr. Azim in this case. What was also profound was the very procedures that they had to go through. So the court agreed on some terms and actually agreed that on the 4th, they will come back most likely when the state has served the other side. That is the accused representatives' specific details of the case. In this case, all the documents that they have filed, they have to receive it, they have to study it, and file their defense. Then on the 4th, they agree on the terms and the modes which will go about this particular case, and then they proceed with the case. One of the other developments that happened in court is the kind of representation that supported a very big people within the NDC, from former Attorney General Betty Modijusu, the former Attorney General Marata Briu appear upon spokesperson for former President Mahama in times past, that is Josba Muktari, through to other people that are big in the NDC, Kojo Chumbuafo and also Alex Mode were all here. Now, what has happened in the first of that, after she being granted bail, she had to go through the process. We understand, as I see the car leaving now, lawyers of Madam Ationu and also some people who are supposed to be the sureties have to be checked out. And that's the process we are going through now. So she's not entirely free yet. She has to actually be cleared by the bail bond process before all is said and done now.
By the way, what are the terms of the bail bond?
Okay, specifically, she's supposed to, it's a bail bond of 5 million Ghana cedis and 2 sureties. And these are the sureties that are going to be verified. And that's the process they are going through now. Now, for Daniel Azim, and of course, the judge explained that mindful of the fact that his own is not 80 charges, we are looking at specifically dealing with 1 surety and 1 million Ghana cedis. So that's the difference between Sedna and also Mr. Azim.
But what was her demeanor in court? I suppose she was there. What was her demeanor, Raymond?
She was unusually quiet. She was actually in what looks like a pensive mode. Anytime she had to reject the charge and say not guilty, you could see her shaking her head prior to that. She was seated comfortably, rather not on the edge of the seat, but she was not in the most comfortable, I'm not sure anybody will be comfortable, but in the most comfortable position supposed to be. As for Mr. Azim, he consistently stamped his feet on the ground and looked very, very much in a position of discomfort.
You heard my colleague Raymond Akwa reporting from the court on the former Maslock boss. She's been charged with 80 counts of stealing and causing financial loss to the state. She pleaded not guilty to all 80 counts. She has a bill of 5 million Ghana cedi with 2 sureties. And then also, still to come here on the Midday News, pressure mounts on government for the search of missing Takoradi girls as family and residents of Sekondi Takoradi in the Western region and surrounding community holds vigil for seeking the face of God.
If I was just praying and asking God if she did something wrong, God should just use this opportunity, to forgive her so that she will come and join us. Up till now.
My name is Kwame Sefakai, and most of you know me as a media personality, but I am also a family man. The UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, saves me so much time by letting me do almost all of my banking transactions on my phone. The cardless withdrawal feature allows me to withdraw cash from any UMB ATM without an ATM card. I can also pay bills, transfer money, request for a loan, invest money, and so much more. So now, I can spend less time at the bank and more time with the ones I love. Bank anywhere and anytime with a UMB mobile banking app, UMB Speed App, and get the time to do what you love most. Download the UMB Speed App from your Android, iOS, or Windows phone today. Call 0302 633 988 for more information. UMB Speed App, Digibank, let's go.
You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. It's time now for sports, and Ridwan has sports. Strangely, I've missed you.
Yes, I know.
Okay,
I know.
what's in sports?
I'm a good guy. You know, this morning we've been told, or this afternoon we've been told of something we call Friday and Slip. And the Vice President of the Normalization Committee, Lucy Quest, says she misspoke during her interview on the Super Morning Show with Daniel Dazi today. On the show, Ms. Quest said that media reports that the contract between Xylophone Cash and the Ghana Football Association, which has gone missing at the Secretariat, were untrue.
Did they ask? Who said that?
So this, I'm asking you now. Yeah. This is an opportunity.
No, but here's the thing. We have to be very careful. Every time people put out statements, the question I ask is, we don't even ask to say who said. You know, someone can write a whole article, people go off and, you know, have fun with it and, you know, spin a whole new show on it. Well, and no one simply asked the question of fact.
So the fact is, we know where the contract is.
Yeah, but there's no league for them to support.
Did they make any payments in the past?
Not that I'm aware of.
So, Madam Quest sounded as if she knew about the contract and that there was an existing contract between the GFA and Xylophone Cash, and they had a copy. She had cited it. But shortly after that interview, Madam Quest had clarified her comments in a post on Facebook. She wrote, "Thanks to everyone who tuned in to hear me on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. I hope the discussion gave some food for thought. There was an error in my submission that I would like to correct. I erroneously said the GFA has the Xylophone contract. The GFA does not. This error, I apologize. I hope this clarifies the matter. Thank you. And thank you, MFA, for this post."
Thank you very much, Ridwan. Now, pressure is mounting on security agencies and government to help find the missing Takoradi girls as family and residents of Sekondi Takoradi in the Western region and surrounding communities hold vigil seeking the face of God months after they were reported missing. Although police say only 3 girls have been reported missing, residents say at least 4 more, and most of them teenagers, have gone missing since last year.
Hundreds of residents thronged the dark streets holding lighted objects such as candles and lamps and prayed sporadically to seek the face of God in the impasse. Organizers of the event, Sky Media Group, hope to send a firm message to all residents they are stronger together, and also to pile pressure on security authorities to fast-track efforts to unite Priscilla Mantibia Kwanchi, 18, Priscilla Blessing Baintum, 21, Ruth Love Quason, 18, with their families. The vigil started with a walk of prayer through the principal streets of Takoradi around the Market Circle area, and later participants converged at the Jubilee Park. At the park, pastors led rounds of prayers to seek for God's guidance for the 3 young ladies.
By this time, where is Mefia? What food is she eating? Is she really aware of what we are going through? What offense did she committed? At least if I was just praying and asking God if she did something wrong, God should just use this opportunity, to forgive her so that she will come and join us. Up till now, we don't sleep. We always weep. We always think of where is she now.
The message is short. Bring back our girls. We want our 3 girls. With the great people of God among us, that we're able to go through the principal street of Takoradi. We are giving ourselves a week. We believe in that God will do something. A miracle will happen.
The vigil was largely patronized by members of various churches and other groups in the region.
Let's go live now to my colleague Natalia Kwanzaa for the latest. So, Ina, what has been the reaction since this vigil yesterday? Have we heard from police and other members of the community?
Okay, Nessa, so the police is yet to speak on this, but yesterday they were part of the people on the street. They gave guidance to the families and residents. But for the residents, just as you heard them saying now, they have hope. They are hoping that by next week, MFA starts from today. So from now up to Sunday, they are hoping that these 3 girls would return to them. Though they still have some kind of fear in the community, they are not able to move about their normal duties as they used to because they still feel that they are not safe. With this prayer alone, these residents are really hopeful of the return of these 3 girls.
And the police has not given the slightest indication as to where they are with investigations in finding these girls.
No, the police are not ready to speak about what they are doing. They said this is something that they are doing, and if they should always go on air and then talk about this, it would also give these criminals leads as to what they are doing for them to master their game in order to truncate issues. So they are not ready to speak now until they have been able to do their investigation, get back these girls to their various families.
You heard that my colleague Natalia Kwanzaa is our Western Regional correspondent. You can still join the conversation. Is the hashtag Bring Back Our Tardy Girls. If you see something, please say something. And that's the smooth music of the music man. We all call him Kojo Antwi, who is known for belting out romantic tunes. And in this month of love, your superstation Joy 99.7 FM is organizing a love concert featuring the music man Kojo Antwi. And we have the head of programs. You heard him doing the woo. That's his romantic voice. Yeah, Joy FM, Mr. Kofi Ansah, joining us here on the Midday News. So you are in the love mood already. At least you are married. I'm still searching though, but what are we to expect on the 14th of February? And that's my love voice though.
I feel it. You know how stressful it is, during such periods, you're thinking of what can I get for my partner? You've bought the ring, you've bought the dresses, you've bought the roses, you've bought the chocolates, you've bought the air tickets. And you're asking yourself, what else can I do? We're taking care of you because we care about our listeners. So we're giving you a total package. We're giving you a full buffet dinner at Kempinski. And then we top it up with a 2-hour performance by the maestro.
2 hours?
The music man, Kojo Antwi. What else can you ask for, MFA?
And I get a choice to request a song, a special song for
Kojo is actually ready to sing any love song of your choice, whether he sang it or it was composed by another musician. They're ready to rehearse all those songs for our listeners.
So please, where can I get a ticket?
Right here at the front desk of Joy FM. You come here, is 800 cedis for a couple. That's it, basically. And then you can also... you can call us.
VIP booking? Okay.
Yes, VIP booking. So if you want to make some reservations, you call the front desk of Joy FM, or you can call 0544 336512.
So he leaves out the singles?
We're taking care of the singles.
So I can still come.
Yes, we're taking care of the singles.
Because I need to watch
if you're single and you need a ticket, just come over. We'll take care of you.
Okay. Yeah. That's the head of programs here at Joy FM, Kofi Ansah. You need to be there. It's the 14th of February. Of course, you hear more about that later. And let's check out what's trending. And guess who is bringing us that? Araba Kumsi. What are people talking about on social media?
Well, the quest is all over social media. I will take Twitter and some Twitter comments. Gabi Donsola at Donsola writes, it was interesting how Lucy Quest wanted everyone in the studio to calm down, but herself didn't calm down and sounded somewhat rude. Engaging a pundit like Gary was the right time and place to come clear on issues, not to argue and put us all in a limbo. Also, Muftau Nabella says, so which contract did Lucy Quest see before mentioning on Joy FM that they have seen it? And finally, Michael Frimpong writes, always on point, my love for Lucy Quest.
And that's it for today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Emefa Apo. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Do enjoy your working week.